I want to talk about my short entry here on gold. Okay, so let's look at a 15-minute chart first. Now, let me just make this a bit wider. Okay. Now, this morning on Twitter, I posted that I am looking for a short setup that comes back down into previous session PM lows, and I identified a gap here. Okay. So that's what I'm looking for. Okay, a short setup. Now, right now, gold's pretty hard to trade because we're at all-time highs. Okay, so if we look at a daily chart, let me turn off all these lines. So we're at all-time highs. Okay, even if we look at a monthly chart, we are now in uncharted territory. Okay, so there's really no high to target here, only lows to target, and we don't want to just short because we don't want to be stepping in front of a freight train. Okay, so I'm looking for a setup just as a scalp trade. I might not get that setup. Okay, but my intention is to find a short setup just to scalp, and all I'm looking for is to move back to the previous PM session. So that's the PM session there. Okay, anywhere between that 2 to 3 p.m. and there's a gap that sits there. So that's all I'm looking for as a target, but I'm looking for a short setup. Now, I've already taken a short, and that's what I want to talk about, okay? First thing I want to highlight is the way this is moving up, okay? It's just crawling up, and if I go to a 1-minute time frame, we can see that it's just crawling up, okay? We've got these small highs and lows, and so the first thing I kind of want to do is work out where could this be headed. And really the only thing I can do, because I don't have a previous high, is I want to calculate some kind of mathematical target of where this might be going. And all I've done is I've taken this initial move down, which would have been a great long entry, by the way, but I don't want to buy gold at these highs right now, okay? So all I've done is I've taken that dump and projected higher, okay? And I've got this level here, okay? And I'm looking to see, okay, at that level, does gold take any liquidity? And we can see it's taken a previous high and now coming down. Now, how do I know this wasn't the high, or this wasn't the high, or this wasn't the high? Well, I don't know. But what I can see as I'm watching this is every price movement higher is supported by down candles, which are the order blocks, okay? So if we start from here, look at how this movement, every down candle is coming into a gap or down candle moving higher, coming down into these down candles, the order block, and moving higher, okay? Here it's coming down, okay, into these down candles and also balancing this gap, moving higher, okay? Here we're coming down into these down candles and this gap moving higher. So we can see this is bullish order flow. So I'm just marking out these lines and I'm waiting to see when does price no longer be supported by down candles or gaps, okay? So I then also look at time and what I have forecasted to be the mathematical target. So we get to this level, which I have in advance forecasted from this move down, okay, and projected up to that level. We have a high, that high is taken, we've come into that level exactly, and now here these down candles should have supported price, and this gap price should have continued higher from there. However, we don't go higher from there. We now start to come below those support levels. And now we see price is no longer being supported by down candles. In fact, price is now held by the up candles, which are the bearish order blocks. Okay. So as soon as we got below this level, okay, I've taken a short. Okay. Now I still could be wrong because this is a short 1-minute time frame chart, but at least now I have some indication of a change in the state of delivery. Okay. And that's further confirmed by this engulfment candle here on the 15-minute chart, which is what I look for at the projected high after taking liquidity, as I've shown on the 1-minute chart. Okay, now this could simply be coming down to this down candle to go higher, but at least once we get down to that level, I can put my trade to break even. But my expectation and what I want to see is that we now continue lower into this level, okay, which is the low of the PM session into this gap, and then we might go higher. I don't know. Okay, we could even go higher from these levels. I'm not sure. Okay, but once we get a bit lower into this down candle, which in essence, in a bullish order flow would act as support, that's where I will look to put my trade to break even. Okay. Now I could still be wrong, and we could still get up from any of these levels from a shorter, maybe 5-minute time frame order block. Okay. But I do believe that, you know, we'll come down and test this order block. Okay. Either go higher from there. Once we get down here, I can put my trade to break even. So it's quite an easy trade from my perspective. My stops are pretty tight if we get back above this high. Okay, without coming down here, because I'm only going to put my trade to break even once we hit this 15-minute order block, okay, because from there, good support and go higher, okay. If we don't get down there and we start to move higher and we take it this high, I'm out. Very, very tight stop loss. I'm entering in somewhere around these highs, okay. So the risk to reward ratio is pretty high. And time was also a factor in my decision making, okay. This time is now in the last hour of the Asia session. So every new hour is a potential change in direction. Okay, so that's why I've got a lot of things that I've looked at and considered before taking this short. Number one, I have projected a level where I think this market is headed towards based on this down movement. Okay. Number two, I've marked out a high before we got there, and we did take out that as liquidity. So we've got a high there. Market's come down. Okay, that's a swing low. and then going up, broken that high, but then rejected from my predetermined calculated target. At what time? Inside of a brand new hour. Look at the time down the bottom there. That's 10 p.m. New York time, which is the start of the last hour of the Asia session. Okay, so we've taken liquidity coming to a predetermined calculated projection. Okay, started to move down. We've come below this swing low. Okay, that is basically a breaking structure. You can see as we've broken this swing low as well, we've come back and pulled back into these up candles. Now price is no longer being supported by down candles. In fact, price is being held by the up candles. So to me, bullish order flow is now bearish on the shorter time frame. We've also got a confirmed engulfment, okay, of a 50-minute candle, okay, after taking out this high, okay, and coming to a predetermined level that I have calculated to be a target. Okay, that engulfment indicates a change in the state of delivery of price. You can see since then we have been moving down quite strongly. Price may support at this level. Once we get down to this level, I will be putting my trade to break even. The trade right now is 40 pips in profit. Okay, I mean that in itself is a pretty good level just to exit. Right, it's only a 5 lot, it's not a 10 lot because this is not a high probability trade. There's a lot of risk because order flow on a high time frame is bullish. Okay, so that's the basis of the entry that I want to walk you through. What I look at and think about when I'm taking this kind of short setup and why I wasn't considering any one of these other highs as a potential change in direction. The key is to look at the order flow. Each order flow here, you can see every every move up is supported by down candles or a gap, and therefore all this move up is bullish order flow. Okay, at the right time, at the right level, after taking the right liquidity, I've then decided to go short. You can see this is that 15-minute candle where price may support, at which point I will now be going to break even. Okay, my expectation on this trade is that we continue lower, okay, below this consolidation, okay, into this level here, which I've marked, which is that gap on the 15-minute chart under the previous session, PM session. Okay, you can see here how I'm monitoring this. Okay, so right now I'm going to be putting my trade to break even because this level here could be support. We could support from here and move higher, okay, to take out these highs. This is still bullish momentum, okay, until proven wrong. But taking the short on the shorter time frame chart, based on the conditions I've outlined, is a relatively sensible and reasonable position to take based on the analysis outlined in this video. Okay, and just showing on that 15-minute chart, that target is down here. Okay, that's what I'm looking for around this 2462 mark. That is the previous PM session lows. Okay, and that is a gap within there, and this also is an order block. Okay, so I hope this video was useful. I will now talk with you in a future video. This is just a basically scalp trade, right? This is not a high time frame trade to go short. I mean, we could continue to go down, that's fine, but that analysis still needs to be done. For now, this is a scalp trade targeting the low of previous PM session. Okay, I will now talk with you in a future video, but so far this looks good.